All right. One of the things I look forward to doing inside the school community is going live just for open Q&A at least once a month. Probably on a Sunday or a Monday. Those are when my openings are in my calendar. And again, these are just open topics. We can talk about economy, housing, education, YouTube channels, anything that the group would like to talk about. I suspect in the beginnings, these will be very intimate discussions with only a handful of folks as the community grows. So if you've ever wanted to get some of my time, this is probably a good time to do it because you will get a lot of direct access, feedback, and things of that nature. We've got Frank, Mickey, and we got Mark sitting in the back, and it looks like we have Lamai joining as well. But yeah, guys, this is for you. I'm an open book. If you ever wanted to ask me about housing or economy or getting started or when to flip or grow, I'm here for you. So you know, fire away, ask questions as you see fit. Don't be shy. Anybody want to go first?
Maybe I will.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. One thing I just thought of with Mark and Mikey being in Hawaii, I've heard, and I don't know if it's just a funny thing, but the fact that Las Vegas is the second Hawaii
Uh, I've
is
heard
is
that.
is that a thing?
I think it is a thing. I had heard that as I was shopping in Vegas that Vegas is the second Hawaii, which I always thought was interesting because Vegas, trust me, has no water and it's very brown. In Hawaii, the two or three times I've been there is lots of water and very green. Um, but yeah, I mean, Mickey, is that you've obviously heard that as well, right?
Yeah, and especially downtown particularly. Everyone loves going downtown side of Vegas.
Yeah. It's lots of action, lots of good food. You can get pretty much anything you want in that corridor. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Frank. It is the second Hawaii, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, especially with Hawaii being as beautiful as it is, and I don't know all the stuff we see about Vegas. If it's not inside the casinos, outside sometimes gets a bad rap.
Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised. So I've been in Vegas now almost a year. All the locals, we never go downtown. I think we went down twice. We saw an Ed Sheeran and a Lady Gaga concert, which were on the strip. But other than that, we avoid it like the plague. We don't even go down 15, which is that highway that goes right past the strip. We go around it on 215 or maybe take 515. But what I like about Vegas, because Olivia and I are foodies, a lot of people come make their name on this strip and then they go open up smaller restaurants. So the food scene in Vegas is insane. It's just insane. So I think we've had like two bad meals the whole time we've been there. It's crazy. So if you're a foodie, um, Vegas is and it's all kinds. So it's we enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, we're the same. Cynthia and I are the same. We enjoy our meals. We got a small taste of it while we were there in Vegas with you guys. Um, so we're looking forward to coming back. The Over the week, a couple of things popped up as far as topics, with the YouTube channels and videos and stuff. One
Sure.
of them was whether, well, there's two.
Sure.
One, I was looking at my weekly schedule for REI content,
Mhm.
and my week is pretty full. Every day there's something going on, and there's new people jumping in to have um, Zoom discussions and stuff. Uh, and I feel lucky. Cynthia's in this with me, but we were getting into some pretty deep conversations about it. One of the things that came up recently in the comments was whether your spouse is on board 100%, or what are the different relationships with that.
Yeah.
And some people have no support, some people they're in the middle, and some are all in. But one thing that she kind of revealed to me yesterday was that in the beginning I'm always been so excited about this because I can see the advantages for our retirement being better.
Mhm.
And so I was kind of pushy in the beginning, and she pushed back, you know, because it
Yeah.
wasn't her thing. It wasn't her thing in the beginning. And also the fact that she was still willing to venture into it with me after our first try, like, you know, and then losing those properties, going through bankruptcy and stuff. I mean, a lot of women might not be even able to think about going at it again. So we'll probably be doing some content around that there, because there have been a few people.
I think, you know, I think you, Frank, and Cynthia, if she's comfortable getting on camera, just laying that story out is going to be powerful. If you lay that story out and allow the audience to ask questions, it even goes deeper, right? It's going to be a question of where you two are comfortable. But yeah, anything in life, whether it's certainly starting real estate a second time, starting a YouTube channel, losing weight, having a great, it all takes focus and discipline. And if you're in a relationship, you've got to remember that sometimes, you know, they don't see the world the same way. So we have to communicate. A lot of us, probably myself included, over rotate towards action. And, you know, I kind of hope Olivia keeps up. That's not a good idea. Right. It's far better to say, hey, honey, you know, this is going to be a 90-day sprint. Just want you to know, you know, I'm going to be a little focused, or, you know, I'm going to get up early or stay late or whatever it is. I have found it, you know, that going slow to go fast is important. But yeah, I think if you're, yeah, if you and Cynthia are comfortable sharing that story, Frank, you know, I think there's a lot there. You know, I think there's a lot there.
I think there's more as the story unravels, right? I mean, the further we get into this, and my main goal in the beginning was to help make work optional for her, even though she's pretty close to retirement age anyway, just so she won't be worried about bills or whatever it might be. You know, it's going to, and like I said a lot, you know, we're too old to retire early, but we can certainly make our retirement better.
Better, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's proving to be true.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, Sleeves, I see you there, man. How you doing? Oh, on mute.
There it is.
How you
Hey,
doing?
what's up, brother?
Hey,
Good,
man. How
man.
you doing? You got any questions for me? This is open communications. Anything you want, economy, housing, whatever. This is my time to give back to you.
Super cool, man. I just closed on 3 double wides. This is kind
Okay.
of like sometimes asking some of my buddies, and I've been getting different feedback. So in my so this is my theory, right? Is that double wides, manufactured housing is it's a good play because the metal beams, they're metal, right? And so like in North Carolina, Fayetteville, there's a problem with termites and all that, right? So I'm
Yep.
thinking theory is that one of the main issues that we have when it comes to structural stuff in our market is less of a concern because they're metal, right?
Sure.
And I'm seeing the rent for a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet is the same thing as a stick built.
Yep.
And sellers are willing, because they bought some of these things at like $20,000 a little bit ago, and now they're appraising for like 150.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wholesaled one back. I wholesaled one the other day. Like a year and a half ago, my buddy sent me the link. It was I had it under contract for 20, wholesaled it for like 30. I think I made like 10K. He has it listed for 171.
There we
So
go. Somebody left
I'm
money
like,
on the table. It wasn't him.
so I had these 3 pop up in the deal file. I was like, oh, I'm grabbing these now. I'm done. Like, I'm not giving these away. So, but I always like just kept it moving with those because they're double wides,
Yeah.
So do you have any
So
experience
Yeah, we have some of those in California, specifically the Central Valley. I don't own any. There is a difference, and I think I've talked to people on the East Coast, North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm going to guess these double wides, you actually own the dirt. You're not,
Yeah.
there's no lot fee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice wrinkle because all the I shouldn't say all the ones I have seen in Fresno or the Central Valley, I end up paying somebody a lot fee, right? Because they're in somebody's park, right?
Yeah.
Which really kills cash flow.
Yeah.
The other thing I know about double wides is, they don't finance the same way. But if you can get around that, right? Pay cash, get hard money, DSCRs, whatever they are. Yeah, they rent for just about the same, maybe a $50 haircut as a stick built.
Yeah.
And if the goal's cash flow, I mean, there you go. I mean, you need to check insurance. I've never quoted insurance, so maybe the insurance is wacky. I don't know. I can't imagine. I mean, it's just a tin can, but maybe. But yeah, I'm not opposed to those. If I was in an area of town or a state where double wides were on lots that I owned, I bet you I'd own a few. Because again, the other idea is, dude, you make your money when you buy. Like if I was talking to a seller that wanted out of a double wide, I would talk that thing down like, oh my God, you want me to buy a tin can, blah, 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 blah. Can't get this, can't do that. Then you buy it for 20 grand. By the way, you turn around and rent it for a stick built at like $12.50 a month, and you're like, you've got all your money back in 13 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be hunting those all day long, but there are probably some things around double wides that I don't know. I would check insurance. I would check taxes, just to double check, your assumptions are correct. But yeah, as long as you own the dirt, I got no problem with double wides.
Yeah. Nothing structural that you heard of that I'm
They
overlooking.
don't last as long. I mean, you gotta have them looked at, right? You gotta check the roofs. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah, I guess that would be the one unknown would be the maintenance over time if I'm still
Correct.
plugging the right. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I have not heard of a double wide lasting 100 years. I've heard lots of stick builds last 100 years. So
There you
there's
go.
probably some life expectancy that
Okay.
you got to
Yeah.
plan for. But the beauty of this, dude, is, I mean, if you do this right, there are plenty of people selling double wides that need them moved, right? Like, I need this off my lot. So, I mean, if you buy a double wide today on a lot, you keep it for 15 years, it deteriorates, you recycle it, you go buy another one discounted and put it back on the lot. I mean, what's the problem?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was overlooking those, but now I'm not so much. So yeah, that's actually a really good point too. Is now I'm considering. I was just talking with my team the other day. I was like, maybe we should start buying these lots that have like a trailer on it, and start thinking about moving these things.
There you go.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Yeah.
think about it. Part of how you create value in real estate is you buy from, like in this case, you buy a lot not being used for best use, just has a trailer on it that's needs to go away, and then you buy from a seller who needs their house off, and you just merge them together, right? You get this for a deal and this for a deal, and bingo bango, you created value.
Right. Right. Yeah. They're interesting. I'm not overlooking them anymore. That's for sure. So,
Yeah, I think there's a lesson in that. You lock it up for 20, flip it for 30, and somebody gets it for 171. Yeah, I think there's a lesson in there somewhere.
it's actually pretty funny.
Oh, it's opportunity. Don't miss it. Don't miss it twice.
Yeah. I just started looking at small warehouses too. You got any pro tips on?
I don't own any warehouses, but I do own some office. I own mixed use. I mean, the whole beauty of real estate is buy from don't wanters. I mean, seriously, guys, if you find a seller who doesn't want a warehouse, who doesn't want a trailer, who doesn't want a mixed use, doesn't want a strip mall, there's a deal somewhere, right? If you're following this, I mean, the next 18 months are going to be hard. People are going to need to raise cash. So negotiate hard, get terms, get a reward for paying cash. This is when wealth is going to be made. The next 18 to 24 months, there's going to be a couple, like if all of you make one or two moves, it'll change your life. But you got to be greedy. You've got to be focused. You got to write lots of offers. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy, but I have been through this at least 3 times. There will be some sellers because of some life event that they need cash. It's go time.
Do you think now would be a good time to look? Because I've been so focused on cash flow, so I keep my debt pretty low, so everything cash flows pretty well.
Good.
Are you time to take a look at that and maybe refinance some stuff, get some cash in the bank, and kind of sit on wait till something pops up? Or
I mean, it depends where you are in your strategy, right? Olivia and I clearly aren't in growth mode anymore. I mean, we're in opportunistic, 1 or 2 deals a year. But I don't know, let me step back. Would I refi some stuff today? I don't think I would be in a rush to refi today to get capital. I would be just hunting and hunting. And eventually I think I would find enough deals that would force me to refi. Because I think there's something in creativity. When you don't have money, you get more creative. Right? I think, not having the money could get you terms perhaps. I think there's, you could 1031. Worst case, you just go do an equity withdrawal. Right? I don't think I would do that first, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and cash flow, there's nothing wrong with cash flow either. There's nothing wrong. Cash flow is okay. We like that. Yeah. Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
Hey, good morning. I'm good. How are you
Good
guys?
morning. I'm doing good, man. This is open Q&A. I haven't done a live like this in a long time, so I'm open to any and all questions. Ask away.
For sure, for sure. How's it feel going back to the live? Well, it's like riding a bike for you?
Oh, I love it. I mean, these are some of the funnest things I love to do. Unfortunately, as the channel got bigger and the hate got worse, I just couldn't deal with it anymore.
That's just the nature of the game.
Yeah, nature of the game. And I love them. I just know I'm going to love the school community because it's my people. It's people that are really moving and grooving. So I look forward to giving hours of my life away. I'm just not going to do it on YouTube anymore because I don't need because once they all come in a big wave. It's just like, God, why don't you trolls just go get your mom to change your sheets or something? It's just crazy.
They attract each other. Well, let's see. I'll pose a question. So I am in a situation where the property next door is a blight property, dilapidated. One more hurricane comes through New Orleans, this thing is going down, right? So we've actually established contact with the owner. It's a gentleman, elderly, I would say mid 80s, mid 90s.
Okay.
We have his cell phone number. We reached out to him, we contacted him. He is in a nursing home. He has one daughter that checks up on the property every so often. We've been trying to kind of get in contact with her. When we called, we just kind of reached out and said, hey, we're interested in hearing, do you have any plans for the property? And so I think the response we got was he's in this mindset of, no, I'm coming back. We're going to get it fixed up. We're going to renovate it and we're going to live in there. And I think, this story has been, we've only lived here for 2021, so just 3 years. But we talked to our neighbors and, he's like, oh yeah, good guy, been in the neighborhood 30, 40 years. And I think it's kind of at that time. So the question I would like to pose is, with the information that you have presented, what are some avenues that we can approach either the seller or maybe the seller's daughter, like you said, with that cash? Because we have cash to deploy to maybe solve some problems. But again, this is going to be our first time kind of treading this path. So just like to hear what you guys have to say on that.
Given that data, what I would probably do is I would go to the daughter because he's in the mindset of he's coming back. That's not going to change. I would probably go to the daughter, and actually, I wouldn't come at this from a cash perspective. I would probably come at this from a terms perspective, because I don't know, but living in a nursing home is probably not cheap, even if it's in New Orleans. What if you could give her $750 a month for the next, I'm just going to make something up, 5 years. And at
Sure.
the end of 5 years, there will be a balloon payment of X. And I picked 5 years. You know, you could pick 7, you could pick 10, whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. But basically, what you want to do in this situation, and this is the conversation I would have with her, is you're going to pay payments while dad's alive, which is going to make any taxes on his social, which is probably very low, which means very little, if any, taxes. Then at some point, we all know dad's going to pass. It's, you know, undefeated, right? Father time always wins. And at that point, given the estate law, given that she's the only daughter, she'll have what's called a stepped up basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then she could take the balloon payment, whatever that is, and likely pay little to no taxes. So it could be an estate, a way to play the estate game, give them some money now to reduce the burden of the nursing home, then using the stepped up basis after passing so she pays less taxes on the other side. I don't know. So I would definitely go to the daughter. And
Okay.
you know, if the daughter's filthy stinking rich and nothing's going on and she's going to let her dad, you know, have his dream, she doesn't want to take the dream away, then I would check in every 6 months and see how dad's doing. So this could be one of the, I would definitely plant those seeds sooner rather than later. See how receptive they are. And then I would put this on a little tickler. If he's that old, I might follow up every 90 days. If he's healthy, then maybe every 6 months. But
Sure.
it might be a follow-up game.
Okay. I like it.
Yep. Hey, Lami, how are you? I see you're on mute and no camera. No camera's fine, but Lami, if you want to ask me a question, you can. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Yes, you are. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. My little question is, I live in the Miami area and prices are still high.
Yep.
And I wanted to talk to you. What do you think about like following the 1% rule? Because that is when I tend to like be able to cash flow from day one. So I don't know whether it's realistic or not because the offers that I'm making, they're not budging. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like it, Lami. So a couple of things. Like a lot of folks, I started with the 1% rule, right? It was introduced to me at Bigger Pockets back in 2000 and I don't know what it was, 5 or 6. I can tell you that I no longer use it. I have learned that the 1% rule, when used as a rule of thumb, often takes you to worse parts of town. It takes you to condos where you don't include the HOA. It's a rule that can be misused if you're not careful. That's why you hear me talk about getting a buy box, learning yield, doing all those calculations. So I want to know how hard my cash is working. That's all that matters to me. Is, hey, if I put 50 grand in, how much money do I get back? So I call it a yield. Some people call it cash on cash. I think the 1% rule, generally speaking, is flat out dangerous if used inappropriately.
So can I at least use the rent to determine if I'm able to cover all of my expenses, or what would be the educated way?
Yeah, you certainly need to, right? One of the things we talk about in the course, how to get started one rental at a time, is you got to build your spreadsheet, and it has all the costs in it, right? Mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, capital, reserves, bad debt, maintenance. It's all in there. So yeah, generally speaking, just using rent and price, it can be risky. Like, for example, I've seen somebody, I don't know, it was 4 or 5 years ago, they bought a condo because it was like 1.5, right? Which greatly exceeds the 1% rule. But unfortunately, they didn't realize that HOA was $900 a month, which just killed their cash flow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be really careful. The 1% rule it's so simple, it's so sexy, and thus it's so dangerous. I really do think you need to break down, you need to build a spreadsheet, simpler rather than not, of all the costs. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? Let me see I don't know if I can do this because I'm in a Zoom. Let me see. I don't think I can do this. No, I can't. I'll have it up next time. I'll make sure my spreadsheet's loaded next time. It's a really
I
simple spreadsheet.
appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. All right. Mark, you have any questions for me, man? You're just killing it on YouTube, I see. You're getting more and more collabs going. You're just having fun.
Yeah, I'm glad Matt's willing to join me weekly, because
Nice.
he talks about Tesla, so he brings in all the extra subscribers and followers.
There you go. The
That's
truth comes
how he's
out.
growing. Yeah, that's
See-
his niche.
See, Mark just
But-
keeps me around for the trending content.
For the Tesla lovers. Or haters,
But
one or the
actually,
other.
I do have a question. And this is kind of, you've touched on it a little bit before, but I know you worked really hard. Like you focused and you did the grind.
Mm.
Do you ever look back, and I think you touched on it a little bit, like your daughter. Like, do you
Mhm.
feel like, maybe you went too hard or you went too fast and you kind of put living on the side a little bit?
It's all about my daughter, right? All about Teresa. And it's really about Teresa, like 5 to 11. I think I missed a lot. I was around more when she was a teenager. But yeah, from like kindergarten to like, I don't know, what would that be, 6th grade, something like that. I wasn't around enough. Now, I've talked to her about it, at family dinners. I've talked to her privately about it. She doesn't see it that way. She's told me repeatedly, you were there for every big event. You called every night. It wasn't like you were like vanished. I called home every night, talked to her and Olivia. So she doesn't remember it that way, which makes me feel okay. I guess the one thing that I, we sacrificed so much, right? We went from spending 100% of our money to spending roughly 50%, so that we can keep getting more and more seeds to plant more and more. I just wonder, if we would have peeled off, I don't know, pick a number, $5,000 a year for a couple of years, maybe bought one less house. Could we have created more memories? The answer is probably yes, right? So a lot of our trips when we were doing that were just driving trips. We drove to LA to see friends or Yosemite. But, could we have jumped in a plane and, I don't know, saw Texas or New Orleans or Miami together? Would that have been a memory that she keeps? Probably. So yeah, I miss a bunch. Honestly though, I don't know if I would change it. I mean, she's told me privately that, it worked out. She didn't feel like she was missing anything. I was always there for her when she asked or needed. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's something parents always do. Maybe we always beat ourselves up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I was really glad to hear that, Teresa's over 30 now. So she's like, no, I'm good, Dad. You did everything right. You've given me, we paid for her college degree, right? She got a $200,000 degree, no student debt. That's because Dad was hustling, Mom was hustling. So there's give and take, I guess. I still beat myself up occasionally.
Yeah, I think that's just the struggle that I'm
Yeah.
kind of having a little bit, because, especially because social media, right? Everyone's putting, they're traveling here and there, maybe with their kids and doing these things. And it's just like, am I,
How old are your kids, Mark?
he's going to be 9 pretty soon.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
age.
So, yeah. So like you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
One thing the biggest thing and I think I've said this publicly, that I wish I had, and it really was 5 to like 11, was more hugs. Like there's nothing like getting a hug from your child. And as they turn into 12, at least my daughter at 12 is like, you couldn't hug her in public anymore, right? You were lucky to hug her in private. I missed, and it does come back, but I wish I hugged Teresa more when there was nothing like that, because you're everything to them at that age. And at 9, dude, if I could put a couple hugs in the bank, I would do that for sure.
Anyone else, or I got some more if not.
Keep them going. Yeah, this is all for you guys. I
right.
expect these lives to get bigger and bigger. So let's have some fun when it's an intimate group.
I guess I'll ask Glenn.
Please.
You know, for Frank, he has the weekly calls.
Mhm.
Is there any advice you give to kind of optimize, maybe make the best use of time when we all meet every week?
Yeah, so let me just summarize what I know about these weekly calls. I learned about them for the first, I guess I'd heard about them, but I didn't realize how big they were until last week on Dion's call. There's like 40 some people, right?
On the email list, yes.
Yeah. And they go for 3 hours. Did I hear that right?
At least 3 hours each
At
session
least
so
3
far.
hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've hit 4 a couple of times, but like I told you last time, sometimes we drift a little bit and talk about, things. But just like Mark was saying, I mean, some other important things, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with your children. And I was lucky because my kids are all grown up, but I can understand where he's coming from too.
Yeah. I think what I would do is I would probably adopt some of the frameworks I've seen at masterminds. What do I mean by that? I might create a weekly hot seat, maybe have 1 or 2 people sit in it. And what's a hot seat? Basically, you tell people ahead of time, so it's not a surprise, so you give them a chance to prepare. But hey, next Wednesday, Mark and Mickey, you guys are going to be in the hot seat. We want to know, I want you to do 20 minutes on your business, your buy box, your plans, issues, questions. What do you think you're doing well? What do you think you're doing not? Because when you do a hot seat, not only does that individual in the seat get value, but it is shocking how many times people around them are suffering from the same thing. Or they can ask questions like Mark might come in and say, hey, I've been doing this YouTube thing and I got my first lead. And somebody could come in and ask, oh, how'd that work? And what is it? And I think having structured hot seats is amazing. Sometimes if you just have a call, you wander with whoever's kind of chatty. So I think I would change up. I would have hot seats. I would also, the other thing I would do if I was running a group like that is I would pick a topic of the week. And maybe and the beauty of having a group of 40 people is it could be very widespread. A topic of the week could be, Frank, you're a contractor, right? The do's and don'ts of tiling a bathroom, just to tease off what Dion said. Most of the people on the call aren't contractors, but would get tons of value and it's easy for you to prepare. And then Mark, right? Because he's a firefighter, maybe staying physically active, right? How as an older adult are you staying active and fit, right? Because it's just different. I'm just making stuff up, but I think I would do that. Hot seats and topic of the week. That way it's not all on you, Frank, to kind of carry the load. And then after those 2 things, you probably just go to open Q&A. I think that might be a cool way to structure it. What do you think, Mickey?
Yeah, I like that idea. And we have about Frank sends out about 40 invites, maybe what, like 11 to 15 show up?
Yeah.
Because everyone has a different schedule and everything, but yeah, we've gotten great feedback out of all the conversations I've been a part of.
Yeah, and I think right now, is it just like every Wednesday and it just shows up and people join if they're not? I think if you sent out, like if you closed this Wednesday with, hey, next week, who wants the hot seat? 2 hot seats, this, that, the other. And oh, by the way, the topic of the day is going to be X. You might actually get more people to join because right now it probably feels like, oh, it's just this fuzzy thing.
Mhm.
If you add a little structure in the first 90 minutes, you actually might get a better retention or participation.
That's helpful. Yeah, because Mikey and I we talk every weekend as well and try to come up with things that will keep it interesting. But I have felt that, first we open with if anybody has any questions or concerns or things they're going through that they need help with.
Yeah.
And after that, if nobody does pop in, then it is a little bit of a challenge. So I try to come with topics or subjects.
I would punt the Q&A. I would slam the first 60 minutes with structured value. I would probably go hot seat, topic of the week, hot seat, and then open Q&A.
Okay. Great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. All right, keep the questions coming because if we end early, we end early, but I'm here for you.
I was gonna, if it's okay, jump back to something Sleeves was saying about
Please.
the manufactured homes. So longevity of the structure is, well, has been a concern when I've considered things like that. But I wonder if, because Dion's brother also invests in mobile homes, and he's retired 10 years, and he purchased them years ago and still has them. So, I would say 15 to 20 years he's going at right now. But and I don't know if Sleeves follows Dion, but his brother's been on a couple of times. His brother's a little camera shy, so they haven't really dove into that aspect of real estate investing. But that might be something to look at. And then there's a woman on online. Her name's Rachel Hernandez, and she's like the queen of
Oh wow, there you
the
go.
queen of that type of investing. So it might be something to dive into.
Rachel Hernandez. I'll look her up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been through a mobile home, but I mean, my grandparents, when I was a teenager or whatnot, I think lived in one for a little while. I guess that's when they retired, so maybe I was a little bit older. But they're nothing like that anymore. They look like a home.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got to imagine it's 50-year lifespan, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and lending's a little bit different, right? But
Sure, lending's different. Yeah.
what Dion's brother likes a lot about them is they're all built the same. So he, if he goes in to repair something, he knows what he's going to get into and be prepared for it. But
That's a
he's
good point.
even done bedroom additions on
Wow.
one that I know of.
I didn't know
So
that was possible. Okay.
it is on a private piece of property, and he does it that way. But he's retired for
Yeah.
quite a while now off of those.
Yeah, if I was in a market where they were around, I would probably be hunting for those on my own lot, right? I wouldn't want to pay a lot fee because that only goes up. It's kind of like an HOA. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to them for sure.
Yeah. And I know, well, here I'm in California. So one of the things here to consider would be they have companies that will come out and do a formal hold down, like earthquake hold down here.
Yep.
And you pretty much have to have that if you're going to be like renting them out, or even selling them now. Sometimes they require that to be done before they'll lend up money on it. And one thing about what Matt was saying about, the older gentleman, if he needs to go into assisted living, I'm hoping to start a project this week for a couple of sisters whose mother might have to go. So we're going to remodel the whole place so they can sell it, because they're saying that it's $10K per month in the assisted living. Yeah. And I
Wow.
guess I've heard a couple of people say that if you have assets, they take that first, and then they don't just let you die. They'll move you into a different part of the facility. Sometimes it's sharing a room versus having a private room and things like that. But the care still stays. So it's crazy expensive.
Yeah. That's father time is undefeated for all of us. Yeah. Part of the game. That's 10 grand. Wow. 10 grand a month.
It's just nuts.
Yep.
Do you know any investors that invest like out of the country, like Japan or anything?
Oh, I got a buddy of mine who buys in Colombia, Medellin, Colombia. You have to pay cash. There is no lending. He owns 5 or 6 condos in Medellin. I know somebody who owns a unit in Australia. It was a home they lived in and then they moved. They still have that. Some family members own homes in Taiwan as rentals. So a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
No one that wants to come on your channel and like talk about it, or
Oh, I could do that. Yeah. I
I
could
think
ask
that
them
would
to come
be,
on.
yeah,
I'll ping Matt. Matt's got the condos in Colombia.
nice.
Investing out of country.
Yeah, because Mikey's plan is to go to Japan or live in Japan. That's his
goal.
Well, his girlfriend lives in Japan,
Oh, that's a hell of a commute, brother.
so he's a passport bro.
I guess, man, damn. I guess you're halfway there in Hawaii, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, what 8 hour flight?
how far is it from Hawaii?
About 9 hour flight.
Wow, still.
Yeah.
Woo! Damn, brother.
Those are some
Okay.
expensive date nights.
Yeah, no joke. Get that
Uh,
high-speed internet, man. Damn.
I'm trying to minimize those expenses as much as possible. I can get it down to about 2,000 for 2 weeks trip out there, everything. So I'm trying to get it. Yeah, trying to.
Yeah. That's not bad. $2,000 for two. That's $1,000 a week. That's not bad. But wow. Yeah. Okay. So, the goal is to move to Japan. Is that right, Mickey?
My goal, yeah, is, and I'm trying to talk with her, seeing, what could we possibly live on, and then you want to cap that maybe two times that
Sure.
monthly net, and so
Okay.
now we're just trying to go back and forth, and that's why I'm really fired up about this community, just trying to, have that income. So
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it. I'm gonna love to see how this evolves. Hey, Sleeves, what are you doing to market? Are you doing mailers or texting or calls or door knocking? What's on? How are you finding all these deals?
No texting. Thank God I never built that out because that's pretty much shut down now. All my buddies that built their business on it, they're all
Out.
figure stuff out. Yeah, they're in a tough spot. But no, we do a lot of mail. We have radio ads is probably
Wow.
one of the things that you don't hear a lot about.
Okay.
We actually did be there for a little bit. That was not very good in our market. But yeah, we got cold callers, mail, radio, the website, some SEO stuff.
Okay.
Actually, I just got done doing this. Might be a good tip for everybody.
Sure.
I just got done this right now. So I'll go into the local Facebook group, like the yard sale, Fayetteville, North
Yep.
Carolina kind of, and I'll post my hey, we just closed on. I just posted the 3 double wides.
Yep.
We just closed on these. The seller wanted an easy sale. We made it real easy, fast, as is, all that. And actually, I've bought one property for sure, a triplex, from a post on there. Just by posting.
Wow.
So yeah, might be a cool tip. So yeah, I'll post in the Facebook groups. I think those are our main ones now. Oh, we do some PPL for lead stuff. So the guys that are doing all the digital marketing, and we just pick lead, so
Cool.
we do some of that.
And now, are you just turning and burning? Are you building, are you wholesaling 50% of what you get, 80%? You keeping anything?
Yeah, we're I've kind of moved into the commercial stuff a little bit more.
Okay.
Because getting excited about the $200 to $400 in cash flow is a little bit less exciting,
I get it.
when you get to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
We have a small mobile home park, so I'm liking the small mobile home parks.
Okay.
So we have
small, 40 lots?
no. Well, that'd be great if I could grab. I'm talking about 7 lots.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, wow. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So I like those. And then the little warehouses. But we did just buy 3 double wides, so those are hard to pass up. So
yeah, no kidding. It's really funny. You talk about those 7s. I think everyone should be looking in the 5s to 40s. Because again, if you get much above 40, and I'm talking either mobile homes or apartments, I'm obviously more apartments, but you go much above 40, that gets to a price point where the big guys come in. But if you get you find the 7, the 9, the odd 11, nobody's going to play there. And, if you if the market gets as tough as I think it's going to get, there's a lot of negotiations. And again, people need to remember terms. It's not all about price. You can get some pretty sweet terms in an environment like we're going to go through, I think.
We just bought one. We're rehabbing now, 13 homes, 14 lots. We got it. I ended up walking away from the closing table getting paid $2,000. One of those.
Yeah, here, take this don't wanter. Here's
Yeah.
$2,000.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I felt pretty bad, but no, yeah, we got it.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, A little bit, because we weren't expecting it to be like that. I thought like I just got 0 down, but then we got the he's like, damn it, like, because he actually had to come out of pocket like 12K.
Wow.
I got that, so I'm like, oh my god. But yeah,
the seller came out of 12 grand and you got 14 lots or 12 or whatever it was. That's funny.
I did have to drop a lot into a new sewer system. That's ultimately why it happened. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But no, I got it 3%, amortized for 30 years, balloon at 10.
Doing 10. That's beautiful. See, folks, this is the stuff that's gonna come. You're gonna have some older landlords, owners who want out. The market's changed. Stupid buyers aren't anywhere around. Only the educated folks doing the work. 3% interest rate, 2 grand at closing.
That's why it resonates with me, because I actually followed up with him with the sellers for like years. Ultimately, they ended up trying to sell with an agent, went under contract like 3 times. Buyers went in there and saw the sewer. They wouldn't close 3 different times, and they were just exhausted. And I just put in the work, kept following. Hey, did y'all close? Did y'all close? Finally, they didn't close, and they were like, all right, fine, just take this thing. And they were just bleeding. They were bleeding, you know?
I keep telling people this is how it works.
Yes.
This is exactly what I want people to do. Do the work, make an offer, follow up. And hey, if it goes in contract, like you said, did it close? If it did, congratulations. If it didn't, I'm still here.
It's really surprising how many folks just don't want to do that. When like it's actually kind of crazy. When
I have been talking about doing the work for 5 freaking years.
Yeah.
I think I have a community of like 1,000 people that get it, but there's millions of people that still don't get it. Oh, it's frustrating, but it's also fun. But at least there's 1,000 that get it.
Yeah, I talk with people pretty often in my market, trying to help them out and stuff. And like, I'll show them the numbers for my team. I'm like, my team literally made, like, just my like American side team, they literally made 100 phone calls today.
Like, oh, I can't do that. No, you can.
Yeah, I'm like, so
yeah.
I try to give people like somewhat of a standard or something. Yeah. But I'm like, well, how many offers did you make? Well, they're like, well, I did that one, 3 weeks ago. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, bro. You gotta do the work.
Yeah, we just got to keep leading by example.
Yeah,
we've got decent momentum. People are starting, and again, I really do. I think the next 18 months are going to be perfect, one rental at a time, do the work scenarios, because the average buyer is going to pull back. We're going to find the motivated don't wanters. We're going to follow up, and then the more and more people that have evidence, it'll start to morph and grow. So I look forward to being around to watch it grow.
Yeah, and for those people, because sometimes I have those, and I think I've heard you talk about it. I'm just now finding your stuff. I'm trying to, like, dude, you put out so much content. I'm like trying to catch up. I'm like, golly, dang, there's so much of this stuff. So I'm like, so I'm listening to everything. I'm getting caught up. But the people that were putting in the work, and they got the database, they got all the fault, they've been putting in the work. Maybe it wasn't turning out that great, but it's all going to come to a head. I guess from what you're saying, I'm listening. I'm saying, yes, sir. I'm going to follow what you say. And then it's going to all that work that you can't see the results of is ultimately going to turn into something.
Yeah. As long as you don't stop, because again, let's just be real. There's the last 2 years. This is shocking for people to understand, but I believe it. The last 2 years, it's been remarkably easy to make money.
Yeah.
Now, some people get that, and some people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. Trust me, if you are an entrepreneur, you could be a fakepreneur. It was easy to make money. The next 18 months are not going to be like that. What worked 2 years ago won't work. What, one call closes and it's just not going to happen. But there will be people that make generational wealth in the next 18 months. And then there will be people that didn't change and they'll go bankrupt. Like if you built a business on texting and texting just blew up. Yeah. Whoops. Bet on the wrong horse. Yeah. So I'm really excited for the next 18 months because I know this community does the work, focus, buy box. We're not distracted. We keep showing up. We know mistakes happen. We learn from them. We keep moving. And yeah, that community, that event we had in Vegas, man, that was just way cool to see everybody networking and sharing and growing. So I really, this community is pretty cool, pretty awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Resonates with me, man, because it's something that I've felt. Because like I got buddies, they're burning their eyeballs out, and they're just like they got all. I'm like, they're like, well, the rent will go up, and I'll
Yeah.
cash later or something. I'm like,
Oh, betting on appreciation. Oh man, like some of these syndicators
that's
burned millions of dollars and just lit it on fire.
Yes.
Yes, not
That-
good.
Yeah, and then you talk about this stuff too. Is like the you got to ask yourself, like, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you? Because I was about to go down that syndication thing. I went to the masterminds, but I'm like, man, these guys, they seem stressed out.
Oh, undoubtedly.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
some of them are going to jail.
Yeah, but they were trying. They're trying to make some stuff happen. But if you'd achieve what you wanted if you just went one rental at a time.
Yeah, one of the things again looking back is interesting is somebody who climbed the mountain. We got to a certain point and we just sat down. Some of these people get lost, right? They're already successful. They have enough. Like Coach Carlson says, they have enough and they just keep going, and then they make one more bet and they go right back down to the mountain. It's like, oh, dude, I can't do that again. Right? It's one at a time. Know thyself. Don't race. Getting wealthy is so simple, but it's just not fast. Everybody wants it now. It takes 10 years. So I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch.
That's something I struggle with. I'm dealing with it right now. It right now. So I closed on these 3 double wides and I bought them cash. Right.
Yep.
So I think I spent like 150K or no, 171K on these. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hold these cash, kind of the stuff you talked about.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm just going to cash flow my, great with these, and I'll kind of chill out for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm getting some stuff stabilized over here. But now another really great deal, another great mobile home park pops up. So I'm like, I'm back in that little, like, it's not crazy to deal with, but I'm not getting everything leveled out. At what point do you just stop? Like, is it the goal you have written down, or?
Yeah, for me, it was a monthly number, right? I needed to get to a certain cash flow number, which was it's really funny. Dion's cash flow number was 4x. Mine was about 2.5x, just because we had crazy lifestyle differences. But once you get to that number, it's about managing the portfolio, repositioning debt. Maybe we're still doing 1 or 2 deals a year, nothing crazy. We're just not working as hard. That's really, we're letting our network bring deals. But if you're in growth mode, like if I was in growth mode and I got those three mobile, whatever they are, I might ladder those up 50%. So I get 50% back. I would never go above that, so that I'm still growing. Because if you know our story, we had our average LTV at 80%, but they were all stick builds at 80% for a decade. And then we started paying stuff off.
Okay. I was just looking at my stuff because I think I'm at 61 with everything.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I have a little room if I'm still growing.
Yeah. If the growth is growth, if the goal is growth,
right,
you got a little bit there.
Okay. Yeah. Then I don't feel so bad about it. I'm relatively conservative.
61% is pretty good.
Yeah. So if I put a loan on this, then I'll be able to. So this is what I'm struggling with. These are like my options right now.
Okay.
Is I can get a good 30-year fixed DSCR loan at like 8.5.
Sure. Sounds right.
For those 3.
Yep.
And then basically pull all that cash and use that to buy this next little seven. Well, it's 6 trailers and 1 single family house.
Okay.
And buy 260. Right, with a little bit extra cash, I'll just own that. for
Yeah.
cash. I'm at a point where I guess I'm comparing loan products, because if I want to put a loan on the mobile home park, then that's a 20-year and 5-year balloon,
Right.
9%.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes
I
it's
guess,
about the debt. Sometimes 30-year
right.
money, man. Every time. 30-year money. Every time.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I struggle with. That's what stresses me out, is those. I have one loan that's going to balloon, seller finance that's going to balloon here. So I'm like, oh, that freaks me out a little bit. So
Yeah.
So
I've been there. I had one balloon one time at the worst possible time. That was a stressful phone call. It worked out, but yeah, I get it. Balloons I'll never do a balloon less than 10 years again. I had one at 5 years and almost blew up.
Oh wow.
10 years. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing what was the reason why I blew up or almost did?
Well, it was so I bought an apartment building, 18 units. The seller took back 10%, doing 5. It blew up in 2010 when the whole world was on fire.
Oh.
We bought in 05, 2010. I said, hey, I don't have the money. I can't pay you off. I can't give you 120 grand or whatever it was. Will you extend for another 5 years? And she's like, of course I will, because I don't want the building back. So it worked out, but believe me, I could have lost that building.
Oh wow. Okay. That's like my first nightmare, is that conversation.
Absolutely. So it turned out fine. We had a discussion. We did have options. I could have taken a second out. I mean, it would have been ugly if she didn't say yes, but thankfully she said yes, and she just gave 5 more years. So, all right, guys, we're up on the hour. I will shut this down. If you want to tune in, there's another link for the uneducated economist. That conversation will be very much Simon and I, but you'll be able to put in chat, and maybe we can bring you guys in for the third topic. If you want to join, you don't have to, but he's always a lot of fun. Take care. Later.
Thank you.